This was amazing, but disgusting at the same time. It's about to be 1 year since Deji's fight against Alex Wasabi was announced. And ladies and gentlemen, if you can't remember, this sent shockwaves through the YouTube boxing community. This would be Deji's third fight. People were praying that he'd hopefully win this one. So obviously because of that enigma, people really wanted to watch. But aside from that, the card was actually quite decent. They had the UK versus USA format, so it brought UK fans and American fans together to watch this event. But let's not forget now, this event is considered to be the worst YouTube boxing event that there's ever been. Like, people say that the UK TikTok event was better than this. And if you didn't watch this event and don't understand why people think this, watch to the end, because if I was in your situation, I'd be thinking, alright, Deji was fighting, they have the likes of King Kenny, Face Temper, how could it have been bad? So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be evaluating this event, and I will be answering the question, was Deji's boxing event actually that bad? Let's start with all the good things that happened with this event. For one, the pay-per-view price was really cheap. It was only like $5.99 or $6.99. It was below £10, which was good because it does something that in YouTube boxing people tend to forget about. The target audience is kids and teenagers, and at the end of the day, only a few children are going to be able to fork out £50 to watch one of these YouTube boxing events, so they're just going to most likely stream it. It introduced a lot of very good fighters. Here we saw the introduction of Salt Puppy, King Kenny, Face Temper, and Ryan Taylor as well. To me, this kind of means that without Showstar, the Misfits cards wouldn't have been that great because there wouldn't be a lot of hype around it. But obviously because Showstar established some of these fighters, it gave them reasons to come back on later dates. Yeah, they sold out the OVO Arena. I attended the event and yeah, it was completely sold out. However, it did only really sell out on the last day, like at the last minute. But yeah, every seat was filled, which is a plus because a lot of YouTube boxing events these days can't really do that. And there was a good team around it. Obviously, this was one of the first YouTube boxing events to give the Wade concept a platform. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the UK. He was involved in a lot of the promos. And as well as him, we had Vidal, Joe Weller, Chunks. Primarily British people, but because the event was in England, this obviously brought a lot more attention to the event, and they promoted it well. But now, the bad things. And there's quite a few. For one, the promo before fight week was terrible. I mean, it was really just Deji carrying it. They had a few Instagram lives, but fighters weren't hyping themselves up like they should have been. And the open workout, which was the first time that we saw all these fighters on a live stream, the place where they chose to do the open workout was on a wooden plank on a stage in Box Park. And let me tell you, if you don't know, if you have the OVO Arena for a boxing event or for anything leading up to that event, you can use Box Park, which is a little building next to the OVO Arena filled with food places and a big stage. You can use that to host all the events leading up to it, like the press conference, open workout. And we've seen with Tyson Fury's fights, when he's fought at Wembley, which is kind of the same as OVO Arena, only bigger, he's used it, but they've got a proper ring to do the open workouts. And yeah, it was good. But here, I don't know if the budget wasn't great, but they just used it on the stage and people couldn't really work out. They just primarily used it to speak. So the whole open workout thing just didn't really work. Cringe press conference. Obviously, this can be perceived as good as bad, as it's promo at the end of the day, but it was cringe.
Yeah, Alex, I have a question for you. How do you feel coming from all the way from the United States of America just to get knocked out?
It was cringe to a point where it wasn't really funny and it was just causing a bit of havoc. So yeah, that wasn't even on fight night. These two things were leading up to the event, which is two pretty big indicators showing that this event wasn't that great. So yeah, the problems of fight night. For one, they lost the guest list, meaning that some celebrities like Anthony Joshua, people were sitting in their seat, so he had to stand throughout the fights. Likewise with a lot of the fighters' families. Some people's families couldn't even get in, like Halal Ham. And yeah, people were just able to sneak through into the VIP and steal their seats, which is pretty disappointing. The racist rapper at the beginning of the night. So the first fight of the night, Soul Poppy versus Halal Ham, which was the first fight of the night, by the way. A fight which was actually better than a lot of the other fights, but that's not even a point. That's just criticism. I guess it's because it didn't follow the UK versus USA format that they thought they couldn't put it in higher up on the card. This is what happened right before the fight. Halal Ham brought out a rapper. I don't even know what he was, like a battle rapper, and he said some pretty racist things to Soul Poppy. I don't even want to say it, so yeah, here's the clip.
Now you're either high as or you're because your eyeballs look sunk into your face. A man heard you was a size 9, whip waist, looking like an extra from Squid Game. Referees, check this mug, because I see him in the changing rooms putting sweet and sour chicken balls inside of his gloves.
For one, that was disgusting in itself. And I was at the event, and I was so confused. Normally, I'm someone who's easily quite impressionable. So if people start laughing at something or someone says a joke, I laugh not because I find it funny, but I just say it because I feel quite awkward. But even me, someone who laughs at pretty much anything, I was sitting there like, what the f***? Like, come on, you can't say this. It's 2022, man. So yeah, he said that. It was a pretty bad start to the night. Like, even the car park warrior, Joe Weller, said it was disgusting. So yeah, I hope this never happens again because it was disgusting. And I felt bad for Salt Puppy. Minicon robbed. So yeah, I mean, this isn't Showstar's fault specifically, but Minicon was robbed. He fought arms. He fought a pretty good fight. But yeah, he got told that he lost, even though he sent arms out in a stretcher. See, I'm English. I should be backing my English guys. But even me, a proud, patriotic English man, I have to go, that's bullshit. As I said, it's not really Showstar's fault, as the PBA have a history of rigging fights and just not being that good of an organisation. Ryan Taylor's headbutt. This was amazing, but disgusting at the same time. I mean, for one, it broke Twitter. Everyone was talking about it. And if you believe in the saying any publicity is good publicity, then yeah, I mean, Ryan Taylor was one of the most famous men in the world that night. But it was disgusting how PBA didn't declare DK Money as the winner right after he got headbutted. And yeah, it's just not on. I mean, Ryan Taylor went back to his dressing room afterwards and he made out like he was in the right to do it. And it's embarrassing because moments before he even walked out to fight, he was speaking to AJ, and I mean, I think he embarrassed AJ, to be completely honest. One thing I will say about it, however disgusting it was, the form on the headbutt was actually beautiful. I mean, I know we're seeing Ryan Taylor take on Swarms in a couple of weeks, but I would be more than happy just to see him in a headbutting competition. He would dominate. And if you think the headbutting stopped, then no. Christian Hamby fought Vitaly next, which was already a mismatch because Vitaly was like 98 kilograms, whereas Christian Hamby was 75, which is crazy. But yeah, despite this, Christian Hamby was just headbutting him whenever he pleased. Yeah, but even though Christian Hamby did this a handful of times, PBA and Showstar didn't notice, and yeah, it was a draw, although he should have got some points taken away. Yeah, there was another robbery. You couldn't make it up. King Kenny versus FaZe Temper. It was a good fight. In all honesty, it was obvious that FaZe Temper did win. And although King Kenny did have some success and he did show himself as a good boxer, he did lose. But obviously, the PBA and Showstar declared that King Kenny was the winner. And in all fairness, later they did say that FaZe Temper actually did win. But it's unfair on King Kenny as well, man. So yeah, that was terrible as well, man. You guys probably remember this as well. During the main event, Deji versus Alex Wasabi, one of the biggest fights of 2022, a kid ran in the middle of the ring. And see, this was a domino effect from the fact that they didn't have a guest list in the VIP section. Because this kid, he obviously thinks he's a comedian. He's managed to get into VIP. He's ran in the middle of the ring. He's done that. And in all fairness, this could have disrupted either fighter's mentality. And it's bad that the Showstar security didn't even get to him first. It was Deji and Alex Wasabi's security that came and punished him a little bit. So yeah, that was disgusting as well. And yeah, after the event was done, some of these fights led on to massive fights later in the year. Obviously, King Kenny versus FaZe Sensei, FaZe Temper versus Slim. But Showstar didn't even release the full fights like until half a year later. And in all honesty, I just think the fights in this event were quite boring. We saw Anthony Taylor versus that MMA fighter. That was a terrible fight. Honestly, I fell asleep during that. And I think the reason for some of these boring fights were the glove size. Apparently, they were supposed to be fighting in 12-ounce gloves, but Alex Wasabi wanted them changed to 16 ounces.
So we're in 16 OZ. He was supposed to fight 12, but I heard there's a rumor going around that Alexa Wasabi called the boxing commission and said he was scared to get out by Deji, so they switch it from 12 to 16.
And if you guys don't know a lot about boxing, that means that the punches won't really land that hard. And I'm pretty sure on the Misfits card, they fight at 12-ounce gloves. And obviously on Misfits, we see all kinds of knockouts. And I think we would have seen so many more knockouts and people rising up to adversity if the gloves were lighter. And yeah, it's just disappointing, really. And now, my overall conclusion. The visual and the online production was amazing. The only exception of this is the stage at the open workout. But yeah, other than that, everything looked really good. The quality of the event, watching it was watchable. It was cheap as well, so you can't forget that. The fights were decent. The glove size made it boring, but the main event, and some of the fights of the card, the matchups were really good. But being there in person, it wasn't that great. For one, when I got to the arena, there was so many separate lines, and the security there weren't even telling you which one to go in. You just had to go in any of them and just pray for the best. Fights just kept breaking out in the audience, and the security there were just terrible. I mean, that was obvious anyway. We've seen from the fact that people were able to sneak into the ring, and that all the VIP seats were being taken up. The security weren't doing their job. So you're probably thinking, what is my answer? Was the event that bad, or were people just simply overreacting? And my answer to that is yes, it was that bad. See, there were good parts to it, don't get me wrong. And I'm personally more than happy to watch the Showstar too, because they're going to obviously improve in a lot of things. But the three elements I was talking about being visual elements, enjoyable fights, and being at the event, the third element being attending the fight, ruined everything else. Because the audience disrupted the actual event. The audience apparently swayed the judge's decision to rob people. So yeah, maybe because I was at the event, I'm part of the problem. And maybe next time I just shouldn't go to Showstar. But yeah, it was bad. Thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving me in 2022. By the time I upload this, we're probably at 14,000 subscribers. So I just want to say thank you guys for everything. This time next year, I'm going to be at 100k. And that's not me being cocky, that's just me being confident. So leave a comment below and tell me what you think about Showstar. Are they good? Are they bad? Do you agree with me? Do you not? I'll be trying to reply to every single one of your comments. So please like, subscribe, and yeah, see you in 2023.